So good morning and good morning to everyone. Good morning to our valuable lecturer and all my group mates. So my name is Wan Husna, and today I am going to present appointment of auditors. So before uh, a company appoints an auditor, they have a few steps and procedures in order to appoint one. So what are those? Okay, so every company is required to appoint an auditor at any time before the first annual general meeting. And under the provisions of the Companies Act, an approved company auditor shall not knowingly consent to be appointed and act as auditor of any company, nor shall be prepared for and on behalf of a company any report if that person is indebted to the company, its holding company, or subsidiaries in an amount exceeding 2,500. So these are the requirement in order for the company to appoint an auditor. So the first one is an officer of the company and a partner, employer, or employee of an officer of the company. Moving on, a partner or employee of an employee of an officer of the company. So if you're someone from outside the company, so if you're not related to any of this requirement, it is quite impossible for you to be appointed as an auditor. So what else? Moving on is a shareholder or his spouse is a shareholder of a corporation whose employee is an officer of the company. So a shareholder of the company or his wife is his wife his husband, oh no, no, her husband is the shareholder of the company and his wife can be appointed as an auditor because it says here spouse. So moving on, if he is responsible for or is the partner, employee, employer or employee of a person responsible for the keeping of the register of members of the register of holders of the interest of the company. So as you can see from the list, it is quite specific of what requires for a person to be audited because if you can imagine someone being in such a specific job of the company, you need someone who knows what they are doing. So hence these are the requirements. So moving on. So all the partners of the firm residents in Malaysia are approved company auditors, and none of that partner is disqualified under the paragraph 1, 2, and 3 above. So in belah kiri I, these are the lists. So where the audit firm is not registered as a firm under any law of the time being enforced, and a return showing the full names and addresses of all partners of the firms has been lodged with the register of the company. So a person who will be appointed as an auditor must work and also be registered in the company. So an auditor must also present in a public interest because the public needs to know you. So for public interest entities, the provisions of the Securities Commission Act 1993 states an approved company auditor must register with the Audit Oversight Board before he can act as an auditor of a public interest entity. So it is quite clear in order for you to appoint it as an auditor, you must be registered with the Audit Oversight Board. So why does it so? Because a public listed company or one listed in the stock exchange and a license, oh no, these are the also the other requirements. So a licensed institution license under the Banking and Financial Institution Act 1989, and moving on, an insurance company license under the Insurance Act 1996, and a takaful operator registered under the Takaful Act 1984. So these are the public interest entities. So these are the laws that are required in order for you to work such a heavy job. These are the requirements. So it's very specific because auditing an auditor is a very, very big and huge responsibility. So moving on. So we also have reappointment and subsequent appointment of auditors. So for example, if an auditor is dead or he is not eligible, so the company will reappoint or create another subsequent appointment of auditors. So casual vacancies from removal or resignation of auditors must be filled by company at general meeting. An auditor in Malaysia may resign at a general meeting. So if there are vacancies of auditors or resignation of auditors, it must be filled by company at general meeting. As I said earlier, they must held a general meeting that includes all people in order to appoint an auditor. So the resignation is only effective on the appointment of another auditor, and at the same time, the auditor needs to give a written explanation of the to the register of companies stating the reasons for resignation. So as you can see, it's not easy to be appointed, and it is not easy to resign because there's a lot of procedures and steps, but it is understandable because an auditor of the country is a big job. So for auditors of public listed entities, as I stated earlier in the Listed Takaful Act and everything, he will also need to submit the written explanation to Bursa Malaysia. So it is not easy actually to resign because there's a lot of steps. As you can see, you must explain, you must written this, and removal of auditors in Malaysia needs to be performed at general meeting where the special notice has been given. The special notice needs to be given to the registrar of the companies and to the auditors. So that's all from my point. So it is clear there are a few steps in order to appoint an auditor, and there are a few steps to resign as an auditor. So that's all from me. Thank you so much.